Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. This is not one of those stories that I wanted to have to report on or talk about, but it is currently happening over in California at the moment. So in LA, fires, I'm pretty sure many of you would know at the moment. And I hope that some members of my audience aren't caught up in those fires. And if you are, I really do feel for you. I'm praying for you, and I hope that you are safe and that you're well. And I know that so many people have been displaced, so many people have lost their homes. I'm seeing video after video after video like this. Absolute travesty and tragedy could have been prevented, could have been avoided, but obviously you've got idiot politicians that are in positions of power at the moment that have allowed this to continue. They haven't heard or heeded any of the warning signs, none of that sort of stuff. And well, they wanted to be focused more on the climate change issue and save water than actually prevent something like this from starting. I'm seeing countless theories pop up as a result, but really it just comes down to terrible, poor, lazy leadership. Megyn Kelly released a video, I believe it was yesterday, slamming the not just Gavin Newsom, but even the mayor, who kept talking about her private parts, I believe it was, during one of the press conferences, like making it about her. There's another video that I saw of the same mayor being asked questions. Why weren't the reservoirs filled up so that firefighters had water to be able to fight the fires? The fires just burnt. They went nuts. Firefighters were using whatever they possibly could to fight the fires. Unfortunately, wasn't enough. Because when you got no water to be able to fight fires with, what do you think is going to happen? 5 people are already confirmed dead. Thousands of people have to flee. Whitney Cummings, she had to abandon her house. James Woods lost his house. Countless people have lost their homes. I'm seeing people on the right and on the left. So people were praising the fires for destroying James Woods' house because James Woods happens to be MAGA. Meanwhile, people were also praising the destruction of Mark Hamill's house because Mark Hamill happens to be a woke Democrat. And in reality, both are terrible. No one should be praising any of this stuff. What we should be doing is coming together instead of splitting ourselves apart even more. I'm from Australia, and sometimes there are some wildfires that come here. There are some devastating events that take place. It happened in Melbourne. Also, there's some fires still going on in Melbourne at the moment, Melbourne, Victoria. And even in Queensland, same deal. I think it was last year or the year prior, we had some very serious fires out my way. And at times you're thinking to yourself, you're on alert. Are you going to evacuate? It's scary. You don't know what's going to actually happen. So we had like a go bag ready to wait for the fireys to let us know. But thankfully, Lord willing, or Lord providing, I should say, it didn't happen. But same can't be said for these poor individuals that have actually lost their homes. No one should really have to go through any of this, right? But once again, it could have been prevented. 100% could have been prevented, or at least a lot of the damage could have been avoided if the fireys had the necessary tools available. And that's the failure of leadership. Gavin Newsom and the mayor should be gone after this. So what do we know? So some key updates or key posts at the moment. The fires are still burning in the Palisades and in the surrounding areas. It ain't good. It looks terrible. It really does. It's like you see the destructive force. There's like hurricane-like winds. It's just it's hard to really put into words what's been taking place. But evacuation warnings updated as 5 active fires burn, 5 of them. Nearly 500,000 without power in California. Biden decides to cancel Italy trip to focus on wildfires. What's he going to do? Spineless leader. California's governor says death toll likely to rise. That's another thing. Gavin Newsom having his moment of glory and moment of fame was utterly sickening. I'm an Australian. I'm not even a Californian, right? But seeing Gavin Newsom try and hold back the tears and all that sort of other stuff, it's like, wow. You know what? Another thing that I think of this, it's very symbolic of judgment. But a lot of these people that live there happen to mock God, happen to go against him. What does God say? Not going to be mocked. But anyway, Paris Hilton watches a home burn down. Australian film director caught up in LA fires. Oh, Paris Hilton, the woman's got so much money. Like, please. They're acting like it's a big deal for Paris Hilton to lose a home. She can recover. What about the people that don't have the same money that Paris Hilton has? Why does it matter that Paris Hilton is a headline? What about an everyday individual loses their home? Or what about the countless other people that have lost their homes? So thankfully, the wind is subsiding, but fire will continue to spread. Iconic Sunset Boulevard burns. This is the most devastating fire to have ever hit LA or California. That says something. Let's have a watch of Joe Rogan share this.
I talked to a fireman once. This is one of the reasons that freaked me out. I was talking to this guy and he was telling me, he goes, dude, one day, he goes, it's just going to be the right wind and fire's going to start in the right place and it's going to burn through LA all the way to the ocean and there's not a fucking thing we can do about it. I go, really? He goes, yeah, we just get lucky. He goes, we get lucky with the wind. He goes, but if the wind hits the wrong way, it's just going to burn straight through LA and there's not going to be a thing we can do about it. Because these fires are so big, dude. When they're talking about like thousands of acres that are burning simultaneously with like 40-mile-an-hour winds.
So you might say, well, why did the flood destroy New Orleans? And one answer is, well, it was a hurricane. And the other answer is, no, it was corrupt officials who weren't paying attention to what they were supposed to be paying attention to. And the flood came, and that's the meaning of the stories, because of the sins of men, so to speak, which is the capacity of people to turn a blind eye to their responsibilities when they know perfectly well that something needs to be done.
Corrupt individuals turning a blind eye. Sinful individuals that know they should have done certain things, but they didn't do it. And what do you think happens after that? Unfortunately, I don't want it to happen, but it does happen. Natural disasters, I know, do happen, and they're tragic and they're terrible. And I really do feel for all those people that didn't deserve any of this to actually happen, but it did happen to them. But I look at ultimately the people, most of them, the ones in power. I look at their reaction to this. I look at the corruption in LA. Piece it all together. It's only a matter of time that God's going to withstand the mockery, withstand the corruption, before he just goes, all right, I'm going to teach you all a lesson. Maybe a very hard lesson to learn, no doubt about that. Maybe a tragic lesson to learn, no doubt about that. But it's the fault, as Jordan Peterson rightfully pointed out, corrupt in officials. This fire, once again, could have been avoided. Could have listened to the right people. But no, these corrupt officials were like, no, we know what we're doing. So my heart really does go out to all those that have been affected, not just, the MAGA or whoever else, but every single person that has lost their home and lost everything. It's devastating. And my heart and my thoughts really do go out to each and every one of the people that I know that have lost their home. But if you want to blame anyone, don't blame God. Don't blame climate change. Blame the corrupt officials that allowed this to happen and didn't listen. They need to be held accountable. They do. You guys take care. You be blessed, and I'll see you all in the next video.